Right. Well, good morning, everyone. It's good to see everybody in person and not just from the screen today. It is Thursday, May 21st, 2026, and it is the meeting of the Environmental Facilities Corporation Governance Committee, Annual Governance Committee meeting. Could I have a call to order? Oh, I'm calling this to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Chair DeMarchi,
I'm here.
Director Horkran,
Present.
Director Zarowski,
I'm here.
and Director Krasansky is absent, but we have a quorum.
Okay, wonderful. Then we shall continue. Our first order of business is to approve the minutes from almost exactly a year ago today, May 22nd, 2025 Governance Committee. Could I have a motion to approve the draft minutes from that meeting, please?
So moved.
Second,
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Awesome. Any discussion, any modifications? Hearing none, the minutes are approved.
Well,
Oh, all in favor?
technically we need to vote, right? I mean, I'm not against it.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, it's all us. So that's good. Okay, wonderful. Perfect. Well, let's get into the fun stuff of our meeting. Annually, we review all of our governance documents, and the first one is our bylaws. Now, there are no changes to the bylaws, but I do like to go through them just so that we know that we've looked at them, we've refreshed our memory. So I hope everyone has looked at them. We have Article 1, which shows the powers, purpose, and function set forth by the New York State Environmental Facilities Corp., constituting Title 12 of Article 5 of the Public Authority Law of the State of New York. I think we had asked last year, what was like the original date of that? And I got the answer that it was 1967. So I just made a little note just for historic purposes. We have Article 2, which is our Board of Directors. It lays out the board that we have here. So just a reminder on that. Article 3 is the officers, employees, consultants, indemnification. It sets forth what the officers do, the president, the executive vice president, senior vice president, chief financial officer, our secretary, various personnel, the controller, consultants, how to remove officers of the corporation, remove employees by the president, and indemnification of directors, officers, and employees. So I hope that you've all had a chance to look at that. Article 4 just sets forth our meetings, which we're all familiar with, our annual, our regular, and any special meetings, how we adjourn, quorum, and our call to order, our agendas, and approval of our minutes. Resolutions to be written in plain language. I highlighted that because I want to commend this team over the years of putting so many of our documents. Thank you, all of you, for putting our Section 9 resolutions to be written in plain language. They're really good. I really like reading everything, and it is very readable by people. So I'm commending everyone on that, meeting that objective check. How we vote and our attendance and objections. Article 5 is our committees, of which we are in one now. And we have the audit committee, the governance committee, which we meet annually, where we review so many of our documents and so many of the governance that happens throughout the year. And our finance committee. We also have a note of compliance with open meetings law. Article 6, the corporate finances, how funds are handled. 8, amendments, and 9, suspension of bylaws. Just wanted to review that and make sure that we have gone through that. I would like to call for a motion to recommend the readoption of the bylaws as written by the full board.
Just one question, Vita. I don't know if there's been a, well, I will do the motion first, then I'll ask my question. So moved.
And a second. Yeah, you're going to be seconding all, you're going to just have to go back and forth.
We're ping ponging today, Francis.
So let's have some discussion. Adam?
Yeah, no, the question was, just can remind me what the review process internally was to consider whether or not additional amendments needed to be made or not over the year? I know you're not recommending any amendments, and that may well be fine, but I just want to make sure I understand or I'm refreshed on what the process is by which to come to that determination and recommendation.
I would count on you, Adam, as a member of this committee to have read them. And then if you feel that you don't understand something or you feel there should be an amendment, that would be one way. And
Right,
the
I'm
second
asking
way
beyond
would
that.
be legally, if anything has changed, that we need to modify our language because it no longer meets the legal obligations that we have if something's changed at the state level. And I would depend on council to.
Yeah, so certainly, we pay attention to things that are happening, either with other public authorities or, maybe the SEC or some other governing body has come up with,
Yep.
Best practices. So we do follow, we follow those types of things.
Yes, and that is what we follow with any of the documents that need changing throughout the year.
And we would submit to the board an amended version, draft, and it'd have to be at least 14 days. So it'd be ahead of the regular board meeting materials, and you would get extra time to review it before the meeting, and certainly discussion. And we actually did present an amended version several years ago, and then decided to just kind of continue discussion, and that we didn't really need amendment at that time. So we haven't come back and visited that.
One of the things I think I mentioned, I maybe with a different document, was at the end of our documents that if we had, reviewed and approved or anytime, like just keeping track of that at the end. Remember that?
We used to have
do
that.
Yeah.
Because I made note of that on our mission statement. So
Yeah,
we'll
so it's the
look
mission.
at that and do that.
We have it in the bylaws, because I pulled up last year's, right? So I think it'll be entered after this meeting that it was readopted today.
Does it show the year we made any revisions?
It doesn't show the last.
Good history to know,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay.
Adam, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, no, that wasn't entirely my question. My question is this: does the corporation have a formal process during the year? And I understand there's an informal, maybe Henrik, what you're describing is an informal process or not, that looks at it, then does a rundown of whatever the various sources was to determine and make an affirmative determination either way as to whether or not there should be amendments proposed. I'm not asking about notice provisions. I'm not asking if things come up ad hoc as we all, but is there an actual process, governance process by which this is reviewed regularly and a determination is made?
So Adam, I'm just gonna let you answer this for sure, but prior to this meeting, I do meet with leadership and we do discuss all of the documents, and they give me a full hour of your time and attention, and I use every minute of it. And we do discuss matters of EFC in general and, what has been reviewed. So I look at that as a deep dive review.
Indeed. And that's exactly my question. I just want to make sure that was in place so we could, have that be as part of the process. Perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. And certainly I review them and we discuss them. So if you have any questions on any of them, give a ring.
I'm good substantively. I was just asking about process wise. I didn't have visibility into it.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It's just us. It passes. Great. Bylaws are there. Thank you. Next is our governance committee charter. Again, this year we have reviewed and found the need for no changes. But let's just go through it quickly. It's always worth it. It talks about the governance committee is appointed by the board to assist the board in developing policies, describes that, and enhancing public confidence in the corporation. Talks about our committee membership again and our meetings. And on page 2, the committee authority and responsibilities, of which there are 15. So sometimes I like to just pick a few and talk about them. Number 9 is our governance committee mission statement and develop performance measurements. That's kind of our report card. It's at the end of this meeting. It's always my favorite part of this meeting, and we do fulfill that obligation at this. We have written code of conduct, our procurement of goods, if you read through those 15, you're going to see that we pretty much hit them in this meeting every year, all the time. So there's no reason not to know, because this is our responsibility, and pretty much this meeting hits them all if you read them through. Is there any other one I want to pick out? Talks about our regular review and update necessary guidelines. So there's your point, Adam. That is number 5. So that is our responsibility, like I said, and we do meet that as well. That's all I have to say on them. Can I have, I think I talked before I made the motion, did I?
We won't hold it against you. So moved.
Okay.
It's a governance committee. No, Robert's rules don't apply. Don't worry.
What could go wrong? Could I have a motion to approve the governance committee charter as is?
So moved.
So moved.
Francis.
Second.
Second, whatever.
Any further discussion other than my pointing out all of our responsibilities?
No.
Okay, hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, great. And we shall pass them again. All righty. Next is our review of documents that sometimes are listed in those 15 pursuant to the committee's authority and responsibilities. So the first one that we're going to look at is our procurement contract guidelines. And we do have a proposed amendment for this year. Who's presenting that? Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, you are.
Brian.
Brian
Brian.
McGuire.
Mhm, Brian, sorry, I forgot to
That's
change
okay.
it on
So-
there after you told me.
You want to make a motion first?
Yep, hang on. Could
I'm ready
I
to go.
have a motion to recommend the approval
moved.
of the procurement contract guidelines, which will be presented and approved by the full board upon presentation of ID number 1 in today's board meeting?
I will second the move by Adam.
And now Brian will give us an overview for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. So there were no substantive changes from last year. We did make one minor revision to the language in section 3E for discretionary purchases from minority women-owned businesses, service disabled, veteran-owned businesses. We removed the dollar amount threshold and we are replacing it with language that says the threshold is applicable to New York state laws. And the reason for that is in the future, if they change the threshold amount, we do not have to go back and revise the guidelines. They do tend to increase the threshold. So that's the reason for the change.
Yeah, that
Other than
makes
that, no
sense.
other changes.
That makes sense.
Mhm. It's a good change. Have you had any issues with the procurement document or things that haven't met your needs in our process, or
No, we
anything this year that happened that's worthy of chatting about?
not out of the ordinary. No, we review these guidelines each year. We discuss with legal and talk about any changes that are needed. And this was the only change that we thought was needed this year.
We made quite a few changes.
I was
several
gonna-
years
In
ago.
years
Didn't we
past,
have a big
yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a big one a number of years ago. Also in the package, everyone, we do have a list of the 2025, 2026 annual report on procurement contracts. So we are aware and briefed on all of those contracts and hoping y'all had a chance to look at them and just review them. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of contracts. It's like in font 3.
Fit it on the page.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So thank you
Lawyers all
for,
go blind.
thank you for all your work on that. Is there any further discussion on the recommended amendment?
Thanks, Brian.
Okay,
Sure.
hearing none, I will call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. No
Aye.
abstentions. We will pass, and we will recommend this to the full board as ID 1. Okay, now we move to the fundamental policies and procedures, which literally take us to this big book. I like to keep them as a hard copy. I know it's like one of my only leftover hard copies I have. But every year, we don't go through every single one of the documents where they're kind of picked and rotated unless there is a change. So last year, we went through like 8 of them last year, and this year we just have a few. So the first one is the Code of Ethical Conduct, which is, I think we do that one every single year, which is always good. I think we had changes to that one last year. It does talk about the ethical standards applicable to the board members, officers, and employees, and the participation in outside activities, everything that we review also at our biannual ethics training as well, which is also a requirement. So I hope everyone has had a chance to look at it. Ethical standards regarding conflicts of interest, looking at executive orders and how they're handled, and all of that in there. So there are no changes to that document. So just leaving that as a note. The next document this year that we're going to review is going to be our time and attendance. Should I have made a motion to start this? No, I can make it at the end. Okay. It isn't up there. Our time and attendance manual, there is a proposed amendment to that. And you did give me a little.
Yeah, I can go through.
Why don't you
Yeah,
go through
sure.
that? That'd be great.
Yeah, so, as with any policy, experience leads to, new elucidations, and you might want to tighten things up a little bit, and that's what's happening here with the time and attendance policy. So for our sick and bereavement leave section, we're offering 30 days rather than 25 days of absences, so increasing that by 5 days. For holiday leave, we're just being explicit that you have to have been in full pay status to observe holiday leave with pay, which I think is common sense, but, just wasn't in the document. Paid parental leave, we're just requiring, you have to have been at work at EFC for 6 months in order to take that benefit. And then for both child care leave and FMLA, we're just making explicit that we'd kind of like you to get paid during that period, but you can bank 10 days of combined leave accruals. So you use your accruals, and then you can take leave without pay. After that's happened, you can bank 10 days. And so those are the salient changes this year. Again, upon reflection and experience of our HR department, that's what sort of made sense. And we were just tightening things up.
Yeah, many of those changes reflect what we currently do.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make sure we put them in our policy for FMLA and childcare. FMLA especially, folks have been wanting to, and it wasn't in the policy, say, I want to go out for FMLA without getting paid. I want to take paid, leave without pay, and they'll have tons of accruals. So we want them to use their accruals first, keeping those 10 set aside, so they'll always have those 10. If they had to go out later when their accruals run out, they can always take leave without pay. But we want to make sure that they get paid during the FMLA period, up to at least 10 accruals that they can bank. So.
And on my prep meeting, we took a deep dive on that. So we did really do a deep dive on what these changes are, how they're implemented and practiced, and what the implications are for employees from their perspective as well as from overall governance. Okay. The next one that we chose this year is the Equal Employment Opportunity Policy, and that one, there are no changes on that. I just want to make sure that everyone knows we've reviewed it. So, we did not review that one last year. This is new this year, so I hope you just took a quick look through that and see all the things. That's a big document, but it's also in very large print this year. So that's very helpful, but there are no changes to that. We also want to look at our whistleblower protection policy, and that one is number 7 for me. I hope everyone's had a chance. It talks about the definitions of what they are, what the reporting is, no retaliation, complaint procedures, and other legal rights. So there are no changes there either. And then we have our travel policy, which we also did not review last year. So we're just taking a look at that this year. And there are also no changes to the travel policy. I think that's the only ones we're reviewing this year, correct? Yep. Okay. Any questions on those? Any further discussion on them? Okay. Then the next thing that we will review is the qualifications of appointed board members. Just don't mind my cumbersome way of managing this. I do like to go over those. The qualifications of appointed board members. There are 8 qualifications listed. It doesn't, I don't think that one individual has all those, but a well-rounded board. We will all have various aspects of those attributes so that we can contribute, understand, and evaluate and assess and fulfill our responsibilities. So using those 8 as guidelines and knowing that together as a board, that we have those qualities in there. So I hope everyone's looked at their qualifications at the board meetings, or what the board members' responsibilities are there. And then we annually compile the results of our board performance evaluation. And in accordance with ABO Policy Guidance 1005 from October 26, 2010, the ABO consulted with the committee on open government, which advised that a board discussion of its performance would constitute a matter made confidential by state law that therefore could be conducted in private. So therefore, I would like to make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss the board performance evaluation. Could I have a motion?
So moved, Madam Chair.
And a second? All right, in favor, we move into executive session.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you so much. Okay, we are out of our executive session and resuming regular session. We had no formal action taken, including but not limiting to the appropriation of public monies. We will continue on our agenda. The final document before a vote on our authority and responsibility document review is the defense and indemnification provision covering officers and employees of public entities. That is Public Officers Law 18. It has, I think it's something that we always review, and it certainly is something that we review in our ethics committee as well. So I'm going to move us along from there. Okay, we've reviewed a lot of documents, so I'd like to call for a motion to recommend approval by the full board of the policies and other required documents developed in connection with the governance committee's authority and responsibilities. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Take turns, switch them off back and
That's what
forth.
I was trying, I forgot whose turn it was. It's mine.
And a second. Okay, great. Is there any further discussion on the many documents that we have reviewed in depth today? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And our motion for the documents passes. Thank you. Okay, now my favorite part is the annual review of the corporation's mission statement and then our performance goals. I won't take too long, try to get us back on time. But if everyone has it opened, I don't mind if you read along, but I do like to read our mission out loud because it is important and it is very satisfying to remind ourselves of the words that we have chosen to represent ourselves. So feel free to read along with me, right? The mission of the Environmental Facilities Corporation is to assist communities throughout New York State to undertake critical water quality infrastructure projects by providing access to low-cost capital, grants, and expert technical assistance. A primary goal is to ensure that these projects remain affordable while safeguarding essential water resources. We support this mission by consistently using an innovative approach to developing and advancing new financing strategies to maximize the funding that can be made available to our clients, aiding compliance with federal and state requirements, and promoting green infrastructure practices. Good? Everyone feel good about our mission statement? I do too. I think it's great work that we're doing for the state, and all of you are doing great work by participating and making this mission be true. So thank you for that. Okay, Maureen, did you want to talk about and review the mission statement and performance goals? Just a quick list of our performance goals. I'm going to just finish that one, then I flip it over to you. Sorry. Okay. There also is the list of our performance goals, which are the 5 that are there. I'm not going to read them out loud like I normally do. But also there are the questions, additional questions that we answer. So Maureen, I'm going to hand that over to you for discussion. Right? It says you were going to present.
Okay.
I
won't say much because, no, I was just going to say, we did adopt the mission statement originally April 15th, 2010, and it was revised June 1st, 2017. And then the performance goals, the 5 we have now, were they were adopted June 27th, 2019. The original goals were the same time adopted on April 15th, 2010. So it's a very long, our performance report is getting longer and longer with the 5 goals. But I did just want to highlight very quickly that since the exemption of the state water grant program in 2015, and each board meeting we approve some water grants, EFC has awarded 1,266 grants for both clean water and drinking water with Department of Health to over 600 communities for drinking water and clean water projects. And these projects have saved recipients over $8.3 billion since 2015. So I wanted to highlight, as if, again, if they had to go out and finance those projects on themselves, by themselves. Since inception of the CATS program, the Community Assistance Teams, in 2023, which is EFC and partner agencies to talk about funding programs, and our CATS teams in EFC answer a lot of calls about EFC and our programs. We have awarded $2 billion in financing to communities that have worked with the CATS teams and $110 million in grants. So we reached a lot of folks with our community assistance. We sent out over 1,500 mailers to everybody on the IUP a couple months ago in March, I think, and we've gotten tremendous response from that and a real uptick in phone calls. So we continue to find different ways that we can reach out to folks and try to get people that
Well,
we haven't
last year you talked about how
participate.
you upped the participation of our staff out in the field and how
Oh,
that
yes.
has really, really upped the game on communications, and that continues now.
Yes, we still encourage folks from all our divisions to go on site visits so they understand really what we do. And they love going on those site visits. And it's really, for some folks that really don't deal with the projects on a daily basis,
Yeah.
it really eye-opening to see, what we do, whether it's clean water, drinking water. And then I just wanted to highlight a program that we have been administering since 1992, but it's not funded by the state or EPA. It's a little bit different program, and it's the Clean Vessel Assistance Program. And it's funded through the Fish and Wildlife Service and the Sport Fish Restoration Fund, which the fund is supported through fishing licenses and boat fuel. And we have given out, since that program in 1992, started $14.3 million in grant funds for the installation, renovation, and replacement of stationary pump out units and pump out boats at marinas. So it's a good program, and it's
It's a really
kind of
good
just a little
program.
kind of small program we do, but it's one that's a little bit different than the other ones we do.
I've used
So-
some of those examples on different presentations, so it is a small program, but it's
Yeah.
impactful.
It is. And Mike was right at
I was at a meeting at a facility south of here last month, and a gentleman gave the history of that club. And throughout it, he talked about how they got a grant back in the 90s. I think DEC was running a program then a grant in the 2010s. And he got done and went through the history of this yacht club. And at the end, he said, I just want to circle back and say, if you haven't worked with these folks at EFC to have your pump out looked at and access this grant funding, you're doing your members a disservice, because these folks are great. They do great service. And it was really a great compliment. He had a folder from over the years of dealing with our folks and was very complimentary. So that
He should get a short video on
I
the
know.
website then.
it was great.
Yeah.
Advertisement.
Seriously,
Yeah,
right
it's a-
from this.
it's a great
Yeah,
program.
it's always better when someone else is touting the thing.
Yeah.
With regard to the performance report measurements, just two things that we talked about on the session that we briefed. So I know we're running out of time, but I do want to talk about the new program on the private well testing and remediation with DOH, the PFAS and emerging contaminants for individual homeowners who can apply for testing other wells. Do you want to speak to that just quickly? Who
I'll
wants to
give
speak?
Christine or Ashley if they want to talk about it, but
Just
About the private well program?
yeah,
Just
briefly.
prepared for this.
Sorry.
No, but I can jump in, that's fine.
Okay.
No, appreciate it. New York State has, actually, we did some work with the EFC on drafting, the rules for this program are focusing on 5 or 6?
six.
Six counties, downstate, lower Hudson Valley and Long Island, to assist homeowners in these targeted counties with free sampling for perfluorinated compounds, and if they are detected above the MCL, with assisting them with treatment.
Yeah,
I'll speak to this a little bit too, since this is an initiative that DOH and DEC have been working on in targeting. One, I'll say that the administration of this program is similar to that of the septic system replacement
Yeah.
program. So it's actually working with the counties for the counties to then administer. And so far it's actually been very, very popular. It just kicked off. And this is really important because, as we know, of course, this also relates to the state's authority around Superfund and our ability to actually help support private well owners. Our Superfund authority really only allows us to pay for something like a system or testing if there is a source, somebody that we can actually go back and get cost recovery from. That's really
Responsible
what
party.
precisely. And we're seeing with emerging contaminants like PFAS and PFOA generally that it is ubiquitous, right? It is everywhere, and there's not sort of a responsible party for us to go and see cost recovery from. So the governor taking this initiative to establish this program in last year's budget, I think was incredibly important to help support those folks that we don't otherwise have other programs. And there was a gap there that the governor really helped fill in kicking this off.
Really proud of our state and our governor and all of us for that. And when we discussed this last time, I just thought it'll be interesting. I was interested in the overlap between the financial investment that EFC has made on groundwater treatment systems with PFAS and where the individual well testing is and how that overlaps with our investment. And then is it on the periphery? Is it in it? You know, I'm sure it's going to have that same overlap. So something to watch. And then the second was the cybersecurity grant program. Just quickly, do you want to just touch on that quickly?
Sure. That's, and we've talked about it a couple of times, and Amanda had, Chair, had spoken about the DOH and DEC regulations to set minimum standards for cybersecurity at both drinking water and DOH and clean water, wastewater facilities.
Yeah.
And so at the same time, we announced a secure cybersecurity grant program that would help municipalities with assessment of their cybersecurity posture and then after they've done an assessment to do implementation. And so that grant program, which was announced in the last period, but the May 15th, last Friday, the application period closed. We had a great
You were expecting it to be overwhelmingly popular.
was.
Yes.
So 153 applications,
Wow.
123 for assessments, and 30 for implementation.
Oh, they're ready.
Yeah, so requesting over $9 million in funds. So very popular, way oversubscribed because there's $2.5 million available for the grant programs this year. But so we're reviewing applications, just started, kind of reviewing them and evaluating them, and need to score them and figure out. But it's great.
It is great.
And they, I think, have to have their assessments done by January 1st.
I believe that's right. And I'll say proudly that New York State is the first state in the nation to establish these regulations and these associated program here. So it's another great example of New York leading and great partnership between DEC, DOH, the Department of Public Service, and EFC altogether.
It really is. And I'm so glad. I just wanted to take a moment to just highlight those in our performance measurement report. Thank you. This performance measurement report is certainly, Liz, definitely written for language for everyone, like it said like I commented earlier. So thank you for that. It's really, really exciting. So with that, I would like to make a motion to recommend readoption of the mission statement and performance goals by the full board. Can I have a motion? Adam.
No, it's
Second.
Francis' turn.
I will make that motion.
Second.
And plenty of discussion has been had, so thank everybody for that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And our motion passes. Before I adjourn, and I know we've run over, but I always want to take this opportunity to thank all the EFC professionals that put everything together, make it all happen. It looks so easy when we get the write-ups, but we do know as a board how much work goes into it behind the scenes, both from the financial and the technical aspects of that, and how dedicated everybody is to the organization. So I just want to thank you and give you a round of applause and really appreciate you. Thank you.
And I just want to mention DOH.
And DOH, did I say?
I mean, the Ashley and the rest of the staff on the design team put in incredible hours getting these IUPs out every single year.
Thank
getting
you.
the projects going.
Yes. And DEC, I don't want to leave anyone out, so I apologize for that. Okay, so can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? It was wonderful again this year. Thank you.
My turn. So yes, so moved.
All right,
I will,
all in
second that
favor, there is
motion.
no further business. All in favor, aye. This
Aye.
meeting of the Governance Committee 2026 has concluded. Thank you, everyone.